Meanwhile, I'll look for some post-game stuff. I guess here we go. We're live on YouTube.
You're muted, buddy.
Just held muted. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, smooth as always, Farhad from Turin Giants Podcast. I am joined here by my friends Jack, Frederick, and Kevin. What's up, boys? They cannot see you. Well, they can, technically. Oh, my God. So much to get to, boys. Let's get some business out of the way first. My name is Farhad. I'm the host who loves you most. We just witnessed something incredible, and I after the first half, I didn't think we would have much to speak about, but I'm glad the boys gave us a fight, if you can call it that. But yeah, we'll talk all about Bodo Glimt versus Juventus, of course. This is episode number 328. I wanted to mention we're already getting hellos from Australia. You crazy bastards, you Melbourne. Can you write to me what time it is in Australia, please? And we'll get this podcast on the way. Of course, we're live on YouTube. I have a new camera here, boys. Look at check this resolution out. It's a professional camera here.
You can see the pores on your face, my friend.
Oh no! Oh, dude, if you can hear me, it's not good over here. I've been coughing up things, color you've never seen in nature. I've been throwing up. It's been bad, but not as bad as that first half that Juve showed us. I got to tell you, I'll take that over our first half, but we'll get to it. Some business. Please subscribe on YouTube. We are this far away from our goal for 2025. So please get us up there. Everyone who has, we appreciate you, and everyone who's watching and listening. It's 9 a.m. in Australia, by the way, in case anybody cares. Boys, I've got the. What do you say with the starting 11? Oh, all right. Kevin, say something.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually want to start with something unrelated to the match. So we are, for the listeners, we're coming to you. I think the final whistle blew like 7 minutes ago. So we're hot off the press here after that match.
We're cold off
I thought
the
I'd
press.
start with true. Thought I'd start with something a bit funnier. So last night I was asleep and I had a dream that it was U.S. Thanksgiving holiday, which is actually coming up in a couple days here from the time of recording. And for whatever reason in my dream, Juve was playing. Normally there's American football going on, but for whatever reason in my dream, Juve happened to be playing on Thanksgiving. They were playing Sassuolo for whatever reason. And at one point, Juve was up 1-0, and I had to go cook or was called away. And I was able to make it back to watch the end of the match. And we ended up losing 7-3.
Seems legit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this is right on point for what we're going through right now. And I remember waking up and it was like 2 minutes before my alarm, and I'm like, oh, so that's how my day is gonna start. So a 7-3 loss to Sassuolo, followed by an almost complete disappointment and embarrassment at the edge of the world in Bodo, Norway.
Yeah, man. I'm just glad I'm not gonna have to write all the promotion you do for the pod and on Instagram and stuff like that. I'm glad I won't have to write Bodo slash Glimt anymore because you guys remember I think he was a goalie, Bodo Ilgner, right? I think he even played in Italy. No,
Yeah.
no, you guys are gonna nod and say nothing.
don't
It's a
know.
podcast.
Yes.
Anyway,
I,
thank you, Frederick. Yeah, it was every time I started to write that, I would get confused, write something else. So it was an interesting game, wasn't it? We'll get to it. Before we let's talk about the starting lineup. As always, at the beginning of the show, we give our thoughts on what was he thinking. So Perrin starts. Got to talk about that. Kalulu, Kelly, Coop Miners again in his what is it now, fourth or fifth game in the defense. McKennie, Locatelli, Adzic, Cambiaso, Conceição, Miretti, Openda. There are so many questions around the starting lineup. Feel free to take over whichever weird weird appointment to the starting lineup you guys think deserves a couple of minutes.
we're all weird. Starting.
Oh.
Yeah, I just felt that it was. I think this was the game that warranted a 4-3-3, in my opinion. And this was maybe not an experimental game, but this was a game that in hindsight, you could have said, "I'm going to try the 4-3-3, and we should be strong enough to be competitive against Bodo Glimt, even with the formation change." But instead of that, we didn't see any of that, and we saw mediocrity in football form once again. And apart from the starting lineup, because we can bicker and we can discuss about who needs to play where and why and how, but the outcome always stays the same. And I think
Yeah.
this is the main takeaway from everything. Like, we can tweak, we can do whatever we want. I saw a lot of people hating on Spalletti. Maybe, in all fairness, with the starting lineup, there was some room for criticism there. But I mean, guys, Sarri, Pirlo, Allegri, Motta, Tudor. Maybe once and for all, we need to figure out and decide as a Juventus community that this is not just on the coach anymore. And
Yeah, didn't we get
From what I-
past that? Like, didn't we all, like, collectively across the Juventus sphere, like, finally agree that this was not the thing that was going to save us all, and that it gets so much deeper than just a coach? Can we please stop doing this?
Because as much as I have come to terms with the fact that Spalletti maybe did chose his starting lineup poorly, granted, but I mean, we can launch hashtags all day long about who needs to go out, and at this point I think it's fair to say that we need at least 8 or 9 players that need to go out, and then we can start talking business, because there is no reason for a Meretti. There's no reason for a McKennie, in my opinion, even though he scored. There's no reason for Adzic. There's even no reason for me, for Locatelli, to be a part of a Juventus squad. And we won, yay, congrats, a vital win, but we're not even close to being remotely competitive in Serie A or in Champions League. So financially, maybe, if we would stand the preliminary rounds, excuse me, we do a financial good job, but apart from that, it's sadness all the way, top to bottom. And
So it took two games after you had all this optimism around us having having a
took literally 2 games, and
that we have a future.
It's not even the quality, the quantity of the games, it's the quality. Like, if you look at the games that we've played, the past 2 games have been abysmal. And we can talk about, the second half where we turn it around, but I only saw like 12 to 15 minutes of fairly good football.
Okay.
Because once
Mhm.
Kenan started to say, I'm not gonna, go all Kenan God mode on these guys, it was over.
All right,
And we
boys. I have a
even
question.
conceded.
Question for y'all. So, oh, sorry, Jack. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I would just add 2 points real quick. Number one, when I saw the starting 11 not put out on the pitch, but the list of players, I actually agreed with Fred. I thought maybe he was going to try a 4-4-3. I thought it was odd Coop Miners at left back, right? When you just read the 4 names of the defenders, I thought it was Cambiaso, Kelly, Kalulu, Coop across the back. But to deploy all of those new players in the old formation where they haven't really played together in a must-win game, to me, it was misguided. So we don't want to put anything on Spalletti, it seems like, which I agree, because my only other point would be, and I thought of it just now, how many of the players on our roster now were on our roster during the first year of Allegri 2.0 when we started bitching about we need to turn this whole roster over. I'd be interested to know how McKennie's name sticks out, right? Gatti was there, but at least half of this roster is turned over, and we're still saying the same thing. We've got to turn over the whole roster. We've done that.
Poorly.
So
Poorly.
Same
let me
result.
ask you guys. Let me ask you guys a question. Whoever wants to take this one on. So, out of all the, like I call them, weird appointments in the starting 11, what actually did work out for us at the end? Who stood out to you guys as a kind of a new person? Adzic, we can say that there was not much. Right?
Disaster.
So too early, too weird. Champions League starting spot. Maybe not give the guy a starting lineup. Miretti, out of all those guys, what do you guys agree with me? Was the man?
I think he was sloppy, really sloppy on the ball.
I'd say Openda if I had to pick one, and he was even better once he had someone to run with him.
Yeah, but still you play Openda like in a wrong role, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And we could, like Miretti, he just
he had
doesn't
70% pass accuracy in the midfield, right? Like that's really poor.
We've witnessed him a season at Juve. This is his second season, and he was loaned out to Genoa. I mean, how long does it take to visualize the fact that this is not somebody that's going to be like a player that's going to be good enough for Juventus? Not even for me on the bench. I don't see him like. But there's nothing like with this whole team. There's nobody apart from Kenan if he's in his day, because he's been poor the last month and a half as well. Let's be honest here. But we know when Kenan is in his day and he brings out the quality, then you can see how we benefit from that. And that is exactly what we need. We need more quality. We don't have any quality whatsoever, especially in midfield. I mean, if you look at the names that are playing in midfield, it makes the eyes bleed.
Yeah, I mean, you go through it. I mean, to that point on the midfield, McKennie, who I think like with the goal objectively had a decent game, ran his ass off, was all over the place, beat his guy a couple times on the right side, but 67% pass accuracy. Miretti 72. Locatelli, who's usually he was tidier, but 86 and only had 54 touches, which is like half of what he normally has. And then you had Cambiaso at 89%, which was a bit better, but didn't contribute a whole lot in that match at all, and was subbed off rightfully so. But I think Farhad to like what worked, right? And I agree with Jack. I think this was a good. If it was a given that you're not going to start with Vlahovic, I think going with Openda with some of his speed, where you'd be able to break down on this like fast synthetic pitch, like made sense, right? I understood that. I think Spalletti was also probably mindful of not wanting to injure Yildiz on this pitch and probably wanted to squeak by a win without needing to risk his knee with some of these upcoming matches we have, and trying to give some of the younger players a chance to go out there and prove themselves against what should be a subpar team in a unique situation playing a Champions League against a team like this in a location like this on a pitch like this. You'd think people who have had trouble kind of sniffing game time would come out like just hair on fire, right? Just wanting to prove themselves. And so I get some of the decisions he made and not trying to break the formation and just use what has been kind of standard throughout this season and just kind of fit players into it. And it's the thing is, like, this team, despite its meaningful deficiencies, which we could talk about for the next 6 hours, but it still doesn't change that this is the Juventus that we have, should be good enough to come to this stadium and put on a convincing display. But we can't do it with any level of consistency. To Freddie's point, we played well for 15 minutes. And I don't think we would have played that well without Kanon on the pitch either. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit later.
Speaking of, well, let's talk about it now. Speaking of Mr. Yildiz, anyone responsible for negotiations with him, pay the man.
No, don't pay the man. Sorry,
here we
I have
go.
to disagree very harshly here. Don't pay him. Why? I mean, he did well today. He did well. No, he did well, but he was like absent for a month and a half. He was absent for a month and a half. And now
for this game that we're discussing, you saw the difference in quality, right?
I mean,
absolutely
immediately saw the difference, but it's not that
That's what I'm saying.
difficult.
Pay the man.
No, I wouldn't. Let Yildiz. Juventus invested in Yildiz. It's his time to do something back. You want to grow. You want to be a good player, and you want a team built around you. And you get 6 million a year to do so. Fine, let him grow. But demanding 7-8 million now, and dragging on negotiations. I mean, he has a contract till 2029. There's a lot of things that can happen right now. He needs to concentrate on playing well and playing with consistency.
Man. I love
That's what we said with Vlahovic too. Look where that got us. I mean,
we're valid points, right? You both make great points. He's under contract till 2029. Granted, he's not getting the salary he wants, but right now I have to agree with Freddie. That's the salary he deserves right now. He has 2 goals and 2 assists before today. 2 goals, 2 assists. Right? He's not lighting it up. He's not playing like a $6 million man.
Ooh.
There's
Steve Rogers? Is that it?
Yeah, there you go. There's
Nice.
You have to earn that. We made the same mistake with Vlahovic. I hope we didn't make the same mistake with David, right? What is he on, $7.5 million a season?
We did. We did.
No, we made that mistake already.
That's a mistake. No matter if David starts scoring or he's on fire, it doesn't matter. You set a precedent. You picked a new player who doesn't know the culture, doesn't know the team, doesn't know the DNA, which is such a nice fancy fashion word. But you decide to make him the highest paid player of your squad after Vlahovic. I don't know. I think that's a lethal mistake.
We can as fans just hope that today is a catalyst that launches Openda to start doing something.
You're cute.
Months. Yeah. Hey, listen, positive Pietro, right? I'm going to bring it. I want to believe that we can turn this around. We have to believe. What's the point? What's the point of being a fan if you don't believe you could turn this around? What are we cheering for?
I love it.
This club? We're cheering because we want to see them win. So we believe until we can't anymore, and I refuse to give up. So I will try to find those the low-hanging fruit of maybe we can turn the season around for a few players that then helps turn the season around for the team.
All right.
Yeah, I also want to point out for the people in the chat, Yield is not, renewing or, because now it makes Juventus look as the bad guys that they don't want to give him X amount of money. It's not just about the money. Yildiz wants reassurances, but we're unable to give reassurances just because of, the uncertain financial situation that we're in right now. So it's not just about the salary. It's about a lot of things that are, off the pitch, but it doesn't mean that Juventus doesn't want to, but you can go to a certain extent and say, look, we'll try our best. We'll do our best. We're Juventus. You need to show some faith in us as we do in you. And that's basically the win-win you're looking for at that point. And then you can sit down on the table and negotiate. But prior to that happening, and I can understand Yıldız's part too. He doesn't want to play Bodo Glimt anymore with, teammates shaking their knees prior to entering the field. I can understand that.
That was a hell of a stadium too. Can we mention the little hotel at the Curvas at the south stand or whatever? People just watching from their rooms. I'm sure they enjoyed the game. But people of that town were heartbroken by Juve. Let's read a couple of comments here. Shout outs to Zach. He wasn't able to join today. Under contract doesn't stop people from offering money and unsettling him. Not re-signing Yıldız would be a boneheaded decision. Lock your talent down and show you believe in them. There's also a comment from Mitch. Renew only makes sense with a sell on clause. Now, I picked a hell of a comment to read. Agree with Zach, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Shout out to...
if you can get him for the 5 or 6 million and then you have like a 200 million.
My buddy Akbar here from Chicago. Sorry to interrupt, Kevin. He says Kenan deserves a raise, just not a crazy one. If he gets paid 3 to 5 million, I'm okay with it. Well, as long as Akbar is okay with it, we're all good with it. Let's take a look at FOTMob. As always, who wants to guess who was the man of the match on FOTMob.com?
McKennie.
Well done, sir. 8.6 for McKennie. Who was the of the game? We mentioned them both, by the way.
Makes no damn
sense. Our side, it's got to be Odzic.
Odzic 6.6. Yeah, 6.9 for Cambiaso. Perin was 7.0. Kalulu 7.5. I think that's the most I've ever seen him. Conceição 8.2. Openda 8.3. But yeah.
I think we need to stop using FOTMob as a...
I know. If somebody in the comments can tell me what's a good rating website.
What's the denominator in that fraction? 8.3.
It's too much math for me.
8.6 out of 1,000.
I prefer Who Scored over FOTMob, to be honest.
If you knew how close I got to flunking math, you wouldn't be asking me any algebra questions. But SofaScore, Del Piero _109 says SofaScore better. All right, let's check that out. I'll throw it to one of you guys while I see and compare what SofaScore does.
Let's build off of what Jack. Trying to bring in some optimism to a discussion, which I think has every right to be a bit negative, given just particularly that first half of play. But if we were to take away some positives, right? There are a few things that you could pull away. I think Yıldız coming on and making a difference, right? That was good to see after some pretty silent matches from him. We have both of our new strikers who have been in an incredible goal drought. You have David since match day 1 in Serie A, and Openda hasn't scored since 2023, it seems like. Getting that monkey off his back is a good thing. McKennie getting a goal, and he's been in a bit of a drought as well.
Good hop too, man.
Yeah, he got some air on.
He elevated, man.
Perin, I don't know. There was a comment in here. Who was that? Mitch D 93. I want Perin to start from now on. I'm sure there's plenty of folks out there who maybe feel the same way. I don't think he can be any worse than some of the Di Gregorio performances we've seen recently. So it would be easy, I think, to go down kind of this rabbit hole and just be nothing but critical on this day. And I think we would be justified to be focused in that way. But I think there are some positive things to pull out. And then also from Mohammed 1997, Ali Miretti with the assist and the disallowed goal. That is
Kevin,
true. I
I'll
thought he
take
was
over if you-
sloppy
I've-
in possession, but
I found SofaScore, if you don't mind me reading real quick. So Openda is the man of the match according to SofaScore.com. McKinney in the second. Locatelli 7.4, Perin 7.7. Really? I don't know. 7.3 for Conceição. And let's see what Adzic, even lower, 6.3. Man, my boy's getting slaughtered.
Adzic this was one of the worst displays of professional football if I ever saw. I mean, that was just disgusting. That was
that
I
shot
mean,
he had on goal. He had like 2 minutes of that ball was in the air for like 2 minutes, and then he winds up and shoots it off his knee.
I mean, and also his controlling and his passing and his positioning, and it was hard. It was a rough watch, and I think the kid's got talent, but I don't know. I think we're too quick on shouting. These people have talent. I mean, I don't know.
But we're not talking about like high schoolers here, though. Like these are people with professional contracts, and this is their life. This isn't like a part-time thing for a student, or I don't know. I get it, but sometimes I think these comments and perspectives don't appreciate that this is what they're doing for a profession, making really good money.
That's we should also take a minute to highlight some of the things we've been critical about recently, right?
Let's do it.
Substitutions. I think who do we have? It was Mitch in the comments, right? Spalletti positive today. I agree. We've lamented, subs not being made on time, the right subs not being made. I think it was a positive that he acknowledged the first half was garbage, and he brought Kenan on immediately at halftime. He didn't wait. Right? Same thing, pulling Miretti off and putting a bigger body in the middle. Right? I'm not a huge Thuram fan. I think he leaves a lot to be desired, but I think that was also a smart sub. Zhigarova coming in, another smart sub, seeing that Chico was putting pressure on the back line. Similar type of player. He didn't do much, but I think the sub itself was a good choice. So I think Spalletti must get some of the kudos today. He has to, because we've been talking about coaching being one of our problems. So if we're going to say, where do we throw our flowers around? Some of them have to go to Spalletti. He acknowledged what was going poorly and did what he could do to turn it around.
Well, since Weston did score...
West Weekend, SE football!
Sometimes I forget how loud Giuseppe is, but yeah, Weston, props to him, man. Yeah, that was a banger of a goal, much needed. The commentator even said, it's almost as Juve had to win twice, because that penalty, the 86th minute, first of all, penalty or not, everybody pretty much agreed. I didn't see any. All of these checks. Let me go back to talking about VAR. Not go back, but let me mention VAR. Since when? I mean, this was supposed to be a system that checks like the very important calls in it. Since when do we check like a build up to the goal? Like, this bothers me so much, where we're nitpicking every little thing that led to the goal, and then we're going back how many more seconds. Am I alone in that? Are we nitpicking? No. Are we killing the flow of the game now? I mean, sometimes these games are just, look at the game that we played. Who do we play just on Saturday? Who do we play against? My memory is garbage. There was like 5-6 minute stops.
There was a hypothesis that was uttered that VAR was invented in order for live advertising to happen.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
And you can't bring up. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
It wouldn't shock me if you look at the Zone Europe.
Yep, the Zone is bad with ads, man.
They zoom out like they.
Yep.
make the picture smaller, and then at your left side of the screen comes some sort of bullshit advertisement of some bicycle brand or whatever. Um, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
agree.
surprised, but the VAR is so how should I put it, randomly interpreted. There's no general line of how to use it or when to use it, that it becomes really obnoxious, and it's even worse in Serie A. It's
Yeah.
even worse.
But I was corrected by one of our listeners. Kenan Yildiz actually on Sofa Score has 7.9, boys and girls. He did. I mean, you got to agree. Every time he had the ball, you knew something great was coming. His movements are so fast. I mean, the boys from Norway, I guarantee you, did not expect that speed and that the dribbles and the moves. Man, it was pleasant to see. No matter what we say, don't pay the man, pay the man. But it was a great performance by him. If you guys want to take on anything else, I will look for post game quotes. That's the disadvantage of doing the podcast right after the game. We don't really know what the player said. And by the way, speaking of Yildiz, it was his 100th performance, and he did get man of the match from UEFA. So congratulations, Mr. Star. Let me just look at some. Jack, I heard Kevin
I
say,
have.
boys.
Well,
Talk
yeah,
to
I mean, Jack, you were talking about Spalletti and giving him props and for how he adjusted post halftime. And again, like I thought, while it's not necessarily the strongest starting 11, I can understand maybe why that were some of the selections that he had made. And if the team comes out and plays that poorly and sloppily, I don't know how much blame he has, but whatever he said at halftime and the changes that he made certainly made for a much improved second half. Frederic, I'm curious just kind of what you would say to how Spalletti managed the second half as well.
I think he did a good job, but he remedied his mistakes. I think what's more important, not just the substitutions, but I think he made it very clear during halftime that he was not appreciative of the mentality that was on the pitch. And I think we saw, not for the whole of the second half, but I think we saw some improvement in there throughout the second half. So that's a positive note. Um, Another thing that I found a bit, I'm not going to say weird. Um, I was really expecting Spalletti to sub at least two players during halftime, which he didn't. So, and I think that's a typical Spalletti move, because if he doesn't like what you gave in the first half, he'll sub you like without any questions asked. The fact that he didn't makes me wonder if he's not, playing it safe, because he doesn't have a lot of margin. He doesn't have a lot to work with. And I think, regarding his contract extension or whatever, he wants to do the most, but it could work. We were always cheering like, oh, he got a contract till June. That's good because blah, blah, blah. But it can work crippling as well, because you need to perform in those months. And it's not always a given that, those months are enough to prove you, or to, lay down the game plan that you want to see executed on the pitch. So could go both ways. I have some quotes from Kenan Yildiz. Should anybody want to hear them?
From
You,
post
you,
match.
you can take Yildiz. I got quotes from Spalletti. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to quickly translate them. So he was interviewed. He was asked about your performance. Did you successfully manage to get off the bench and change the way that Juventus played? And he said, prior to the game, I wasn't going to play, but this is, of course, the decision of the coach. When I entered the pitch, I wanted to give it my all. And sometimes the coach gives away if you're going to start or not, and sometimes he doesn't. It was obviously the case that I wasn't going to start, and I just found this out today. Did you change the game? How did you feel that you impacted the game? I always play for the team. I don't think of scoring goals or giving out assets, but I just want to play at my worst, at my best, to help the team out. Um,
My humble prince.
yes, it was a very mediatic response, I might add. Um, and then the interviewer said, I found it, it was a shame that your, nicest action was basically disallowed on that goal. He said, "Yeah, I feel so too, and I really hate it for Moretti because he tried to play his game, and it would have been a bonus for him to have scored, but that's the way it goes."
Thank you, sir. So as
You're
far as
welcome.
Spalletti, some of his quotes here are: the team played an open and attacking game, which was a struggle at the time, as Bodo Glimt play with real impressive passing. By the way, they really do, and speed of thought on this pitch that had rather intimidating us looking at their previous home matches. We didn't make the most of some of pretty easy situations in the first half. Then after the break, they doubled up and pushed hard. This is an official. This is an important victory. One the lads deserved, and we dedicated to ourselves. And oh, well, look at you dedicating the game to yourselves. And people have been watching you, and those fans who made the trip to see us up there. One last thing: it's not about choices; it's about ensuring the whole squad develops. I'm happy tonight because in the locker room I saw happy faces, or at least more relaxed ones, because players are people too, and they suffer when things don't go well. It's not like those who suggest they are laissez-faire. But yeah,
You
I
missed you
mean,
missed another quote. I don't know if it's in your interview. It was a very spectacular one. I'm gonna get on their asses right now because this is where we need to be.
whoa, pause, buddy. But yeah, we
No, that's a quote by
I know.
Spalletti saying, I tried my best. I wanted to stay in the background, but it's fundamental that we have some sort of pride and sense of belonging. And now I'm gonna get addosso ai ragazzi. I'm gonna get on their asses, but because this is what we need to be as a team. And I think he's referring to the final 15 minutes where we tried to fight into. So
I just want to go back to when they equalized. Now, what was it, 86 minute, right? How how unsurprised were you? Really, it was so
I
sad how
literally,
surprised.
I think Jack and I had a bit of a back and forth in the group chat. I said, equalizer incoming, and Jack responded by, "Not today, sir," or something like that. And I think it was three
So
minutes
who's the
later
jinx?
when
Who's the jinx though?
I think we both are. I think we both are.
Jack is so proud of being the
But
jinx
but
here.
but that's and I don't know if Jack can agree with me, so I'll let him speak right after. But I think you could feel it coming in a sense, and it wasn't the fact that Bodo was very dangerous, but you could see that Juventus had this attitude of, let him keep the ball. And close, with every minute that passes, they were getting closer to goal. And you just felt that if they had a sniff of an opportunity, they would take it. So that's why that feeling, basically just I don't know. It was an eerie feeling that I had, and I thought, okay, this is gonna happen again. And what did you? Because Jack, you said not today. Was there any reason for you not to have that feeling that they weren't going to equalize, or
No, my subconscious belief that that they can always try to do something to not ruin the day. I mean, it's yeah. I think after the PK, what they had 2 shots on target, both of them went in. So anything they were doing in the box was going to be dangerous. That was me trying to project my belief that they could close out the game through the television and have it manifest on the pitch. No, there was always a chance honestly, there's a chance they were going to put in the third before we put in the third.
And one of the
It's re-
commenters
it
says
they
it
re-
has.
came close? They came
listen,
close, Jack.
yeah, and just to track back for a moment, actions speak a hell of a lot louder than words, and it's nice to hear Kenan's words after the match. But all credit for this result. goes to him. He was dangerous the entire second half. I think I even said it in our.
Sorry, who was it? I missed that.
I think all the credit for him for this result goes. All the credit for this result goes to Kenan. Right, he changed the game. And I think I said it in the chat. Right, the way he settled that crossfield ball before the third goal on a pitch like that, frozen after playing 45 minutes and running his tail off. I thought that was very, very impressive. Right. And those are the little moments where Farhad, you say he makes you stand up, sit up straight, right? Or move forward in your seat. Like, okay, something's about to happen. When he's driving at the goal like that and can collect a ball like that, that's when I find him to be most impressive. Not necessarily when he's dancing in the box. He loves to zigzag and try to make it fall on his ass. And that's great. But sometimes he overdoes that. It's the other little moments, the little touches, the 1-2 exchanges where he really
just makes life difficult for the. I'll take all the zigzags, to be honest with you. I'll take all the trickery, but he just makes the life so much more difficult on the left side. I just wish Conceição was good, but I just wish there was an end product to Conceição's thisness, like all of the stuff that he does. Am I wrong?
Can I take a moment to speak of Conceição? Because every time he gets subbed, he acts like a little child. Like literally every time. And you had your opportunities. You literally had them. You didn't take him. Then you get subbed off. And then you're whining and meh, even on the bench. I hate that kind of attitude. I don't like him as a player. I don't rate him that high. I think he's a good super sub. With the energy that he has, like the last 20, 25 minutes, he can make a difference. Apart from that, I don't rate him that high. And I want to say, quick shout out to Zach in the chat, Berg from Bodo Glimt. What a player. Amazing. Get those guys in. Pay him 5 million transfer fee.
Let's start robbing the Arctic Circle of players, huh? We miss Haaland.
It's just a decent player. He was very composed. He had very, very clear vision. He was running constantly, always making the right decisions, position-wise, passing-wise. You couldn't fault him. And that's the kind of players you need. And he's not going to be a legend if you get him into Serie A, but he has the potential to be a very strong midfielder. And this is what you need right now. And if you pair that with a world-class player who has some experience and some leadership, then you're on to something. That for me is the way.
Well, and he's a staple in that Norwegian national side who continues to show that they're a force to be reckoned with in World Cup dark horse. I mean, he's starting every match in the center of the park for them.
Yep.
Good shout out. He was solid today.
Good shout. We've got a couple minutes here. Do you guys want to discuss the goal scored by us? And tell me if I should name this episode an American, a Canadian, and a Belgian walk into a bar in Norway.
In Norway. It looked as if they walked into a bar when they started.
or out of the bar.
Or out of the bar, yeah.
All right, boys. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna let Kevin take dibs on our first goal if he wants to.
Just if you guys wanted to, if there's anything particular that we're not gonna dissect every goal, but McKennie's was great. I thought the cross from Moretti was decent.
Mm-hmm. It was
that floating backwards spinning ball is always dangerous in the box because players have time to gather themselves. I thought that was a good goal. And plus, it's McKennie. He follows us on Instagram. I love him.
Oh.
I mean, I think the most important thing, I mean, mentioned it already, is that you get Openda and David on the score sheet, and that's critical. I mean, just for their confidence in a match where they've contributed to a win in a tricky fixture where I think, Jack, as you said, it was a must-win game, right? This was a must-win after 3 straight ties. It's a must-win for confidence. It's a must-win going into some difficult matches we have ahead. It's a must-win for us to keep our Champions League qualification for the next round in play, and after a abysmal first half, them having the opportunity to be a part of that, and David with kind of right at the death there, being able to bring that one home. That's huge. Like, they're going to get on that long flight home, like, with a little bit of fire in their belly, right? And that's what you want, right? And not the doubts and not fear of getting jeered when they step on the pitch this upcoming weekend, or whether they deserve or merit this shirt, right? And like, we can debate that, but like, you want them to have some confidence, and that
they bought themselves a couple of days of embarrassment, basically. If just imagine a draw or a loss. I mean, by the way, let's go back to the predictions we did on this podcast, where didn't we all predict that we're going to lose? And when that first goal, 26 minutes, like, I mean, we had it, we called it. But yeah, going back to Champions League. So the standings now, I don't know about games tomorrow. I'm sure we'll lose that 21st spot that we're currently in. Napoli is in 18th, Marseille in 19th, Atletico Madrid in 20th, and followed by us. But yeah,
it doesn't
Champions
change.
League.
It doesn't change. Like, I think we talked about this a couple of episodes prior to this one, that we basically need to win every game in Champions League in order to get through. So we overcome this hurdle, which is good and maybe even unexpected. We still have a couple to go, and I want to touch on what Kevin just said. If this doesn't leave the players with some sense of self-fulfillment and doesn't make their performances or their mental state go in crescendo, then there's really no hope. And Zach predicted the win, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
nice.
I think it's also more than that, though. Like, I think, like, this ended well, and I hope these players have enough self-awareness, and I hope Spalletti, whatever he said at halftime and however he wrapped the match before they head back to the airport to fly back to Turin, that they feel that they were an embarrassment to this shirt as that game started. That first half
was a rough watch.
Was atrocious. I mean, it's you wouldn't know that was Juventus. You could have slapped on like a Middlesbrough T-shirt or something like that, right? And you would have said that made sense, right?
Speaking of T-shirt, didn't one of you guys say that they wasted a great third kid on this?
Yeah,
on this season.
That was Juventus of old, with the Chiellini coming out in 0 degrees Celsius weather, would not have had the long sleeve shirt on underneath. He just would have come out there, we're Juve coming into this like high school football pitch where a bunch of 12-year-olds are playing in the middle of nowhere. We're going to come in, boss this team, and go home, right? Like that's the Juventus that we should be used to. This one coming in, we get embarrassed in the first half. And
we got bullied at certain parts.
We got outpossessed. We had a few good chances, but they were few and far between. And that the team was riding some momentum, and we go into halftime behind, deservedly so. And thank goodness we were able to turn it around. And hopefully the combination of we turned it around, we came out with a win when we needed it. We had some players step up, and Yildiz being involved in all 3 goals in some capacity. And again, those 2 guys getting the monkey off their back, but then being able to sit in that plane and let it marinate with them, how poor that was. And then showing what they were able to do once they played a little bit better and they showed what potential that they do have. And can they ride that? And not just like, I want them to feel both. Like, I want them to know how pathetic and embarrassing that is, to fuel some anger and to prove themselves moving forward.
I do hope the muted reactions to a victory after the 90 minutes is pointing exactly to what you're hoping for, Kevin.
Yeah,
I don't know how it, like, if they all locked hands and like ran up to the visiting fans at the end and like jumped up in the air. I really hope they didn't do that.
No, they just saluted them from what I
Okay.
could see.
All right,
But
fair enough.
the thing that this wasn't a team win, and this is what makes me a bit frustrated towards the future because we had Kenan step up, change the game. But what if Kenan doesn't step up? What if Kenan, knocking on wood here, gets injured? Then we're left with nothing. And you can say, yeah, but this is the team we have right now, and I can surely agree with that. But you still need to set out your basic formation in the way that it could prove to be the most dangerous. And we're still not doing that. There's nobody apart from Kenan that can create something. Like our midfielders are supposed to score. The only midfielder that scored this season, or more than once, is McKennie, and not even a lot. Like it takes half a miracle for Thuram and Locatelli to score. I mean, this is just something, and I'm really curious as to what they will do in in January. And Zach's
All right.
out here moaning that I'm
So
negative.
Zach is saying y'all be more negative than positive after a win, first one in the Champions League and the first one in general in a while. How is this a net? How is this a not net positive situation? I'm happy. I'm enjoying the win. Uh, I mean, it's
I'll
like
take
we
the
said,
win.
it's such a
I'll
huge
take
moral
the win.
victory.
It's the
Yeah.
way that the win came about that bothers me.
I mean, we came back twice. I'm not gonna dwell on it, but let's get
Against
to.
Bodo Glimt.
But
It
we did,
wasn't
man.
Real Madrid. It was Bodo
We,
Glimt.
I'll
Like,
take it.
Hey,
Juve 2025. I'll take a win in the Arctic Circle.
the net positive is yes, for sure. It was a win.
So
Just
we got
take a quick look at the chat. Everyone's doing the math on how we get through to the next round of the Champions.
yeah. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but let's do it. I guess there's so many conversations going on about how many points we actually need to go through. So 12 points should do it. That's I'm guessing Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin is here and there. He's
I mean,
everywhere.
11 got through last year. I imagine
Uh-huh.
if history's any reference, 12 should be good, which would mean so we're standing on 6 right now with 3 games left, right? You win 2 of those 3, you're probably going through, but
I think ideally you need 7.
yeah, you're probably
Winning
right.
in Lisbon is going to be tough.
Yeah. I think you're going to need 7 out of 9.
In any case, let's take a look at our upcoming schedule. Meanwhile, you boys come up with the biggest testicles of the game. We got Cagliari on Saturday, November 29th at 11, I guess my Chicago time. That should be. I'm being cautious here. 2 wins in a row. Cagliari at home. They're currently
it has to be.
They're in 14th place. So let's build on it, man. Somebody mentioned that in the comments. Let's build on this win. Has Spalletti won at home yet? Cremonese was the only one away, right? So he hasn't really experienced a victory at home yet. So hopefully, a game against Cagliari. But before we sign off and say goodbye, Borat, what do we do around now?
I have a very big testicles.
Our low quality DVR recorded clip, but we all love it because it's so imperfect. Who's got the biggest testicles today, boys? I will punch you if you don't say who I wanted you to say. Frederick.
I'm gonna let Kevin go first. I need to let it marinate a bit.
Oh God. All right, Kevin.
I mean,
are you trying to give an answer other than Yildiz?
Yeah, I am, because it's the obvious choice, and coming in and stepping up and honoring the 10 on his shirt and taking the game by the scruff of the neck and having a contributing factor in all 3 goals. So I'm just going to go with Yildiz. He was the player that changed the game, and without his introduction and him stepping up to it, having the same conversation and excited about our first win in 4 games.
Thanks, sir.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna entertain with a a moment from my personal life. I was driving back from a tournament in Virginia with my son this weekend. I shared this in the chat with you guys, and you did this same segment on the last pod, asking for the biggest testicles on the team. And my son, in the back seat of the car, without missing a beat, says, "Do I have to pick a Juve player?"
Oh no.
But no. So for today, I'm actually going to go off the pitch. I'm going to go Spalletti.
Ooh, nice.
For whatever reason, he got his starting 11 wrong, whether it's trying to preserve players because we have 3 games in 11 days, trying to get minutes and some legs that haven't been utilized this season. A shout to Freddie. His decision to keep Digre on the bench was a good one. I think his adjustments at halftime, bringing Kenan on, making the subs he did at the moments when he did, and acknowledging his mistakes with the starting 11 and how the team was set up in the first half contributed to the win today. So I'll go Spalletti.
Alessandro Del Piero is with you. I mean, for me, it would be... Well, if Zach is making fun of me because I picked Digri Godia for man of the match and he had the lowest ranking. So according to SofaScore, my player of the match should be Adzic with 6.3. But all jokes aside, I mean, Yildiz, I'm not gonna come up with a poetic answer that someone else or a coach, which I respect all of your answers, but Yildiz came in, 3 involvements. That's my guy right there. He was a pleasure to watch, man of the match as well as man of the match also from UEFA, like I mentioned. But Freddie, let's end with you here.
Yeah, I'm gonna state the obvious here. I'm gonna go with Kenan, not because of his performance, but because of his mentality. Because if you look at the post game, he didn't know that he wasn't going to play. And if it was Chico, then he'd be bitching and moaning about it. But Yildiz came on and, tried everything to help the team and maybe more importantly, prove Spalletti wrong in that aspect. And I think we need more players with that mentality, not bitching, not whining, but if the coach makes a mistake or he's not correct in your opinion, then just prove it on the pitch, not in the media, not on Instagram. Just go out there and prove it. And that's what he's done today. He didn't do it for the last couple of games where we obviously always picked Kelly, who was also decent today, in my opinion, as was Koopmeiners in that position. But, that's the kind of mentality boost I expect from Juventus players. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. And I'd like to also point out that in the chat, a lot of people were asking for predictions for the next game. So far, if you still have 5 minutes of energy left in your body, then maybe we can go ahead and do those 2.
Yeah, I don't think we need 5 minutes, but against Cagliari with a kind of a upswing of confidence, I say 3-1 Juve must win. We'll let in once. We'll let in one because we're Juve, but I don't see us losing this
capable
game.
of keeping a clean sheet right now, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
just
Okay.
every
I'll take a clean
time,
sheet.
every single time our opponents get a half look at goal, it ends up going in right now. I'd like to say that this is a win. I'll go 2-1. It'll be ugly.
Yeah, I'd agree with the score line. I'd say 3-1, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think we're going to need to score 2 at the end.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go for a draw, a 2-2 draw.
2-2. 3-1. What'd you say, Kevin? Sorry.
2-1.
I'm not. I want to make this clear because I saw some shade on Instagram and YouTube and whatever. I'm not hoping for a 2-2 or like last week a 4-1. This is just what my gut feeling is telling me because Cagliari don't necessarily. They have some difficulty scoring, but they can be very, very, very ferocious on a counter. And due to the fact that we are leaving a lot of space open, I think they'll get plenty of chances because our defense has been pretty, apart from Koopmeiners, and I mean at the center, been pretty lacking, let's say. But I hope I'm wrong, Osmandias. I hope I'm wrong too. I'd rather see a 4-0 win and champagne football, Zach. Wink, wink. But
hey, by the way, I think we were sorry, Frederick. Your
No,
final
it's okay.
2, right? You said 2-2.
It's okay. Yeah, 2-2.
I think, yeah, I think we were all happy we were wrong, except Zach. Zach predicted Juve to win, but I'm sure as hell super happy that I was wrong with the prediction. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Frederick, and thanks for Zach to being here in the chat. He's getting much deserved rest. He says, his words, not mine. If you haven't subscribed, please like and share and do all that stuff that YouTubers do. Please, was that last time I checked? It was close to 600 subscribers. That's huge. We're trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the season, so we can go into the next season, 26-27. Being able to just do a lot
We
more.
have 599 now. 590.
Oh, 599. Beautiful. So whoever's
No,
next,
590
Yeah.
round.
590.
And if you've
So-
made it to the end of this and you're listening on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you could pull your phone out of your pocket and give us 5 stars, that would be amazing. Goes a
that'd be
long way
awesome.
for us. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. We're trying our best. We want to go into the next season with 1,000 followers, which subscribers, which means that we can do so much more. And I think the boy, not me, do it for the boys. They try really hard. All right, boys and girls, thank you so much. Any last words? Maybe 30 seconds. I know everyone has to go.
Get
No?
the 4-3-3 done, Spalletti. If you're listening, take those days, get them brainwashed into a 4-3-3, and I'd rather go out with, on my feet standing than, die on my knees. So
If we're gonna go with the Spalletti is listening theme, get in the locker.
he is listening. I'm sure, like he has like a terrible flight tomorrow. He's gonna podcast the hell out of that flight.
Oh
so
my God, he
Every player in that locker room, a win or bust. None of this win a game and then draw the next 3. We need some momentum. We need momentum going into the Copa the week after. We need momentum going into the Maradona the Saturday after that. It's time to build some momentum and start winning some games.
Let's do it, boys. Thank you, guys. Stay hydrated. Always check on your friends, and Forza Juve. And here's for the man of the match.
Possibilità per 1 contro 1 con Darmian che deve andare a chiudere sul movimento. Ildiz, quindi il tocco da parte di Openda. Insiste che Frentura, palla che resta in mezzo. David ha girato ancora fuori. 4-3 dalla distanza, ha colpito Aziz.
It would be nice if he said the word. Oh God, never mind.
That was
never
the
mind.
Aziz goal
That was
against
the
Inter.
word. Yes, good job, buddy. I just thought at one point he would mention his name. God damn it. Anyways, thank you, boys and girls. Love y'all.
Purple Finest.
Yeah, siamo finiti in B, gli unici a pagare per calciopoli. Yeah, e qui non ci piove, che nel cuore di scudetti sono 29. Volo tutto e tutti, solo per seguirti. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero. Un solo grido, dalla curva si alzerà. Bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero, bianco nero. Per 29 volte campioni d'Italia, per niente e nulla al mondo abbandonerò sta squadra. Tra tutte quante di fissa più stile, storia di un amore senza una fine.